Hey guys, SF and Krishna and Kamadeva and Garuda was announced yesterday from NA, and that means a new series is coming out after the Ninja series on the 16th. That ends on the 16th. So it is the Indian series. There are 3 5-star monsters, 2 4-star monsters, and some people have been asking me what about and I've been looking around the Facebook stuff, is that what's better, for the ascend or evolve. So I'm gonna include the descent monsters in this series as well for my breakdown. So 2 4-star monsters, 3 5-star monsters for the hatcher, and 2 descent monsters for the events. As for the 4-star event monsters, I'm just gonna not talk about them because they're all gonna be, most of them are gonna be ascent material, so don't worry much about them. So I'm gonna first talk about the descent monsters first, and then we're gonna talk about the hatcher monsters. So first one, Vishnu. Sorry if I butcher Indian names or Hindu names of their gods, but Vishnu. Let's go for the evolved version first. Evolved version, he's a god type, D&T type. Ability is a Demon Slayer L, not a Demon Mancer, Demon Slayer L. His stats are pretty low because he is a shelling type. Strike shot is bash the first contacted enemy and giant laser. Bump combo is EX laser L. Ascend version, it's a Demon Slayer, like a normal Demon Slayer. Gauge of a no warp. Stats are pretty low as well. Strike shot is the same, and bump combo has an extra sub combo of vertical laser M. Now, what people go for is actually the evolved version, but it's kind of a preference. Why? Because this one is good. The evolved version is good for farming descent monsters. So Demon Slayer L's are good for Death Coil, good for Butterfly, and good for Astroth. Astroth is the ascent material for Zelda Yukimura. If you guys saw the new update, it's Typhoon, and then Astroth. So people go for this to go for descent hunting, but people go for the ascent version just for normal use, just for like regular use, because there's not much demon descent bosses that have warps. So why not just go for the extra slayer, the extra demon slayer L. So the difference is that demon slayer L, the evolved version, does times 2.5 more damage, and the ascent version, which is only a demon slayer, is only 1.5. But it's kind of your choice. If you just want to go for descent hunting with this monster, then just go for the evolved version. If you want some like general use, then if you're starting out or something like that, then go for Vishnu. Next up, it is Krishna. Let's go for the evolve. Mech Slayer, no warp. Strike shot is the same as Apollo X, Zelda Yukimura, Susano. Bump combo is a spread shot EL3. Stats are okay-ish, not really. It's on the lower side. And ascent version, no warp for the ability. Stats are a little bit higher. Her attack power is better. Strike shot is the same, and bump combo is a Giga Blast with a spread shot L2. Now, why? Really depends on you. Again, if you want the Slayer, then go for the evolved version, but that's all she is there for. So there's not that much mech slayers out there that you might want to farm. So people usually go for ascend the ascend version. Now Krishna is kind of like the next. It's kind of an easier dungeon, so people go for max luck in her. But it really depends on what max luck monster you have on route. It gets a lot easier if you have a max luck key. Key is very good for this monster because she is a D18 and Key is a D18 Slayer L. It's not like a butterfly will be really bad, it's just that she will be not as good as Key. So people usually go for her as a max luck monster more over than Vishnu. So it's your choice if you want to max luck her. And really depends. I've seen some evolved max luck Krishnas. I've seen some ascend versions as well. So maybe if you're going for max luck her, you go for the evolved form, just to do some mech monsters later. I'm not really sure what. Maybe the insects in the MDT series that's coming out later are all mechs. But other than that, there are not many earlier mech monsters out there. Yeah. But that's it for the Descend monsters. Let's go for the Hatchers. 2 4-stars and 3 5-stars. First one, Hanumun. Demon's Bane. And let's go for the Evolve. Demon's Bane L. And stats are high attack because he's a power. Strike Shot is lightning, a Zeus lightning, but of course weaker. And bump combo of Lock On Shockwave 6. There's not much to talk about. Good for demon. Demon monsters. Can be used for Death's Coil, I guess, if you drew him. If you unluckily drew him for like a lot of times they got a luck 90, then why not bring him to Deathbane? Not Deathbane, Death's Coil, or even at Butterfly if you still need to max luck her. But yeah, not much to talk about. He's pretty meh. Chandora. Evolve version. Piercing, no damage wall. Low stats because she's a shelling type. Strike Shot is the same as their Lota. And bump combo of Piercing Homing 6 with a power 243-2. Chandora. I like her as much as their Lota. It really, if you're trying to compare which one's better, Dear Lota or Chandora, it really depends on the dungeon. If there's not much gravity barrier, then just go for Chandora. Although Lota does have that bump combo of a blast, Chandora does do more damage than Lota in terms of piercing, and it helps with the mob clearing as well. Her bump combo is, although she is a 5-star, is comparable to 6-star monsters. Of course, the strike shot's the same, but Chandora, if you're playing like stuff with a lot of damage walls like Fireworm, who else is there? Okuta Soji. I think for Okuta Soji you might use Lota, but Chandora is not a bad choice either. But she has the same uses for Dear Lota, and she has also piercing and okay stats. But I think Lota has a higher speed than Chandora, so maybe you can gauge upon the preference on that. Next up is the 5-star monsters, Brahma, Kali, and Parvati. First up, Brahma. Let's look at the evolved version. So ability is a Wood Slayer, Wood Resistance. It does 25% less. It takes in 25% damage. Takes less. Wow, I'm really bad at saying stuff. So 25% takes in 25% less damage from wood attacks. Stats are balanced. Nothing much to talk about there. Strike Shot is same as Harley X. And Bump Combo is a Giga Blast. I'm not really good at differentiating Giga Blast and Mega Blast, but Giga Blast and Mega Blast, one's has a bigger range with lower power, and one's has a smaller range but a higher power. I don't know which one's which, but the other one has over 10,000 attack, 10,000 power. So yeah, let's look at the Ascend version. With resistance for the ability and gauge shot of no warp. Strike shot's the same. Bump combo is a piercing spread shot EL3 and one way laser M. So piercing spread shot EL. Piercing spread shots, normal spread shots just stop when it hits the enemy. Piercing just goes through the enemy. And power is about, I think it's the same as a normal EL3, so it's really good. But you should choose the Ascend version if you get him. Why? Just because of Kushinada. There's not much else to talk about. He's not really that good in other dungeons. Why? Because he gets overshadowed by Izanami. So the wood resistance is kind of nice. It kind of differentiates him with Izanami, but you should. But overall, in terms of power damage and overall effectiveness, Izanami does better in Brahma. But if you just started and don't have Izanami, then Brahma is not a bad choice for Kushinada. So helps you get Kushinada. So water, Kali. Evolve version. You see me drew her once in my JP account. Minesweeper for the ability. Stats are okay there. I'm not really gonna compare stats. I'm just going for abilities and stuff like that. Unless there's a major difference in the stats, then I'll point it out. Strike shot is bash and then spread shot, I think. No, it is a knock up, not spread shot. Knock up. Bump combo is a speed up. A new bump combo. Speed up. If you bump your monsters into her, then that monster gets the effectiveness as a boot, like the item boot. So it speeds up, and it's pretty much the same as a boot. Of course, you can use the explosion blast for her to speed up herself. Ascend version, Minesweeper, gauge of no warp, spread shots the same, Home 18 and Crosslayer S for bump combos. So this is kind of a choice between you guys again. But if you're starting out, go for the Ascend version. But if you have a really good, solid box, then just go for the utility version of her. The speed up is pretty good, but although you can't really take her into no gravity barrier gravity barrier dungeons, she is okay. But if you're just starting out, don't have a really good box, and you need some firepower, then go for the Ascend version. Home 18 is not that bad, so does well with the mobs and stuff like that. So that's all there is to about her. Last one, Parvati. Evolve version. Ability Minesweeper, gauge of recovery. Now I'm going to talk about recovery a bit. So recovery is for every monster you hit on her, every ally you hit, you can recover a part of your max HP, and depending on the number of monsters you hit, the HP exponentially grows. So if you hit the first monster you hit, you recover 1.5% of your max HP. If you hit two monsters, the second monster will recover you for 6% on top of that 1.5% for the first monster. If you hit 3, the third monster will give you 13.5% more. So it exponentially grows. Well, it's not exponentially like whatever. I'm not gonna talk about it. But just keep in mind that the more monsters you hit, the more HP you recover per monster. And for the max, if you hit all 3, then the max recovery rate is 21% of your max HP. And she's also piercing and has a high speed of 400 over 400. Then she is pretty good. She can probably hit all 3 if you get an okay angle. It's kind of like hitting a Dirlota strike shot to be honest. Strike shot is the same as Hattori Hanzo. So I've seen what the strike shot actually does. But it is a speed up, and then she gets a small barrier. It's really hard to see around her ball. And then if the next enemy attack is a homing to her, then it's 0 damage. There won't be any number showing up. But if it's anything else like a laser or an explosion, then yeah. So it's either homing or a spread shot that she gets 0. And it's, I think, for 1 or 2 rounds. It's not for 1 turn, so it's not that bad. And a bump combo of piercing, homing 8. Not bad for what you call it. Scorpion. There's gonna be scorpions later. Not bad for scorpion killing. Next up, the Ascend version. Minesweeper. Strike shot. Strike shot is bash first enemy and then laser. Piercing homing 8 with a sub combo of homing 8. Now, if I have her, no matter what kind of box I have, I would go for the evolved version, just because of the recovery. But if you want more firepower, so the evolved version is utility. The Ascend version is more of a firepower. So the homings are really good for scorpion killing, which there are a lot of, especially in this series, and I think in the Devil series with like Lilith and Astaroth. And there's more like that just comes around randomly in like one stage, not like the whole dungeon. So she's good in terms of overall firepower, but utility, the recovery is really good. And she's piercing. She can hit a lot of monsters. Hit all 3 if you're good. She's not that great in terms of power. So if you're lacking in power, then don't really go for this one. But if you don't really have a nuke or something in your box, then go for the Ascend. If you do, even if it's like an Ascend monster like Key or like Butterfly or something like that, then just go for it. Go for the evolved version. But yeah, that's all there is to Parvati. I know some of you have gotten her due to their bug for Hades and Parvati. I hope you guys got Parvati instead of Hades. I think Parvati is a lot better in terms of overall effectiveness. But that's it for the Indian series. And in terms of my ranking, my number 1, Parvati. Number 2, Brahma. Number 3, Kali. Chandra number 4, and Hanuman number 5. I think depending on some of you, Chandra might be a little bit higher. Might be number 3. Might be over Kali for me, but I haven't really used Kali that much. I'm slowly raising her up in JP, so you might see her later. But that's it for my general ranking. And Vishnu and Krishna, if you're gonna keep one, then keep Krishna. Don't keep Vishnu. Well, actually, you can keep both. Like, both are keepable, but I think if you have the luxury to keep 2, then keep 2. But if you're like a beginner, I would go for Vishnu. But if you're like just don't want to waste more space in your box, then go for Krishna. Because people that have like really that are really high ranked or really know what they're doing, Vishnu doesn't really help you that much, because they can beat like all the demons like butterflies and the death skull really easily. And Astaroth is kind of hard because she has a lot of damage walls, so you might not need him. You can just stack no damage wall monsters because you have the luxury of a box to do that. Then just stack no damage wall monsters and then just defeat Astaroth that way. But Krishna, and people use Krishna because of art as well. Vishnu is kind of ugly. Krishna is kind of cute, but that's that's for your choice, but beginners go for Vishnu. I think it will be really good in terms of farming later, like the earlier ish descent monsters like Butterfly and Death Scroll. And maybe after maybe after when Krishna comes back, you can probably go for it again. But that's it for me today. I hope you guys like and subscribe and comment on what you want to see more of. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.